So when somebody sends you an email and they're like, hey, our budget is $5,000 to $10,000, you're like, oh my God, this is an awesome website. Like, you get excited. Hello everyone, Emmanuel here, and today I want to talk about scams targeted at website designers, graphic designers, and other online businesses. Now, scams online are nothing new, but I've seen them become more and more common. And it's gotten to the point where I want to make this video because the first time I got this specific scam that I'm going to share with you guys today, I almost fell for it, and it would have cost me thousands of dollars when I was just starting my website design business. So I want to show you this scam and explain to you how it works and how they convince you to give them money, and how they trick you into thinking you have a customer and then they take your money. And I want to show you this because when I got this the first time, I was really excited, and I had just started the website design business. And they almost got me. So I want to show you guys. I want to go over it, show you guys how it works, and let's jump right into it. So this is the scam email. This is exactly what it looks like right here. So the name is Mark Reynolds. Now this is a fake name. Their email. Now this is from a contact form on my website. So you have your website and you have your contact form, or maybe you have your email. They'll send you an email pretending to be a customer. Now, when I had just started, I saw this email, I read it, and it seemed like a normal customer. It seemed, pretty normal to me. So let's go through it. One of the fields is how can we help you? They chose logo design. And this is what they wrote. My wife has a small scale business, which I want to turn into a large scale business that is now located in MI, and the company is based on importing and exporting agricultural products such as cola nut, so I don't know what, nuts, cocoa. So I need the best of the best layout design for it. You can see that the English here is not perfect, so that's a tip. Can you handle that for me? Question mark. So I need you to check out this site, but I need something more perfect than this if possible. Again, some more broken English. I haven't clicked this link yet. Let's see what it opens up. So it looks like a pretty generic, website. I don't know if this is a real website or if this website is part of the scam. This might be a real website that they're just linking to, to make it look more believable. Let me see. Does it have Spanish? It has Spanish, so maybe it's a real website. I don't think they would go through that kind of trouble. So they're just linking to a website to make it seem more realistic. Like, I want my website to be similar to this. This site would be informational, so I need you to give me an estimate based on the site I gave you to check out. The estimate should include hosting, and I want the same page as the site I gave you to check. And I have a private project consultant. He has the text, content, and the logos for the site. No. So that's his explanation. Now, if you're reading this for the first time, it's just a guy who was starting a business. He wants to sell different kinds of like nuts and fruits and things, agricultural things. He has an assistant, this project consultant who's going to help with the files and the logo. Seems fine. And now here are the other details. Number one, she wants the same number of pages as the example site I gave you to check, excluding videos and blogs. Okay. She wants only English language. Okay. She doesn't have a domain yet, but she wants the domain name. This one, is it available? Let me see if this. Okay, so it's an available domain that they send you. You will be updating the site for my wife. Okay, that's kind of repeating. The private project consultant is also working on how to provide the images, logos, and content for the site. Sure. Her budget is $5,000 to $10,000. That's nice. I want to know if you accept check and credit card as a means of payment. Very important. So this is where they get you. So the first time I got this email, I was like, wow, this, I had just started. So most of the websites that I was doing were for like friends and families and small businesses. So what I would normally get from a website would be a couple of $100, $200, $300, $400. So when somebody sends you an email and they're like, hey, our budget is $5,000 to $10,000, you're like, oh my God, this is an awesome website. Like, you get excited. And in that excitement, it makes it easier for you to fall into their trap. So a few things to note here on how it works. There's this project consultant that's very important to the scam, this budget, which is very large, and they want to know if you take checks or credit card payments. So this is how the scam works. I would reply to this and say, I'm really interested. I want to help you. This is my estimate, right? And you see this budget and you're like, well, let's charge them $8,000, right? Now, I never charged that before when I was starting. But if that's their budget, you're like, well, if that's their budget, I can charge them more and I'll make them a really nice website, whatever. I'll put the work into it. So that's the idea. This is what happens. You send them the email, hey, I want to work with you, whatever, it's fine. My estimate is $8,000 or $5,000 or $2,000, whatever you want to send them. This is my estimate. They'll say, okay, no problem. Do you accept check or credit card? Now, they might be able to send you a check through the mail, or maybe you use PayPal or another service to process Square, another service to process credit card payments. You might say yes. You would answer yes to that question. So this is how it works. This is what happens next. This is where they steal your money. They will they'll tell you the following. They'll say, hey, listen, I know your estimate was $8,000. I'm gonna, make me an invoice for $9,000 or for the $8,000, make me an invoice. And from those $8,000, I need you to pay my project consultant. I can't pay them because I'm out of town or my bank is frozen. They'll make up an excuse on why they can't pay their project consultant. And they'll say, hey, listen, I'll send you, $8,500. I'll send you an extra $500, or I'll send you an extra $1,000. But can you do this favor for me? Can you pay my project consultant? So let's say you say yes. Okay, I'll do it. Here's my invoice for $8,000, and I added an extra $2,000 for my project consultant. Right? You would send the invoice. It will get paid. So you have $9,000 in your $8,000, $9,000, $10,000, whatever amount it is in your account, in your like a PayPal or credit card processing or a check that you deposit to your bank. You have the $8,000. Amazing, great, perfect. Next, they would give you the email address or the check or whatever of this consultant, and you would pay them several $1,000s. After that, what they do is once that consultant has the money, they call your bank or your credit card company, they report that as a fraudulent transaction, and they get all their money back. So the $8,000, $10,000, $9,000, whatever, gets refunded out of your account, and you lost whatever money you sent to the consultant. That's how the scam works. And most of the time, this is done with stolen credit cards. So the credit card you're charging is not even their credit card. So they need a way to take money out of that stolen credit card, and the way they do it is by having you create an invoice and then having you send them money, and they'll redo that to as many people as possible. So there are a couple of things that you can know to kind of give away when it's a scam. A lot of the times they kind of copy and paste this whole idea. So whenever you see that like they have a small scale business that they want to turn into a large scale business, that is a clear indicator that it's a scam. They almost always copy and paste this, but sometimes I have gotten a couple of them that have a different story. But there's a couple of things that will always be the same. First, the email. That's the first thing I look at. The email is usually the name exactly, and then some numbers to make it look more legit. Usually people don't have their exact name in their email, so that's kind of one red flag. Usually they have a number or a dash or a different spelling, or the name is backwards. That's just one red flag. That's the first one. The second one is they'll ask something like, can you handle that for me? Do you do website design? Do you do logo design? ? To confirm that you work in digital services. Now, if this was a real client who's been to your website and seen your services, they would know that you're a web designer or a logo designer or a graphic designer. Why are they asking if they're, they should know that when they're contacting you. The other thing that kind of gives it away is, the broken English. I've had a couple of emails that have come to me in perfect English, so that's not always the case. But if you see broken English, that's also a red flag. I would say the biggest red flag would be the budget. If they're telling you what their budget is, that's a huge red flag. Most small businesses don't really know how much a website even costs, so they won't really put a budget in there. And even if they have an idea of how much they want to spend, usually they won't tell you what their budget is because they want to get a quote and an estimate from you first. And even a large company that does have a budget in mind is not going to send you their budget on the first email. They're probably going to want to talk to you and get some feedback before they get into the budget portion of the discussion. The last thing is they're going to ask you if you accept credit card payments or check payments or a specific kind of payment. Do you accept this specific kind of payment? Because that's a payment type that they're going to use to do their scam. Normal customers will usually ask, hey, what payment method do you use? Not, can you use this specific payment? So the fact that they want to know that off the bat on their first email is a sign that it's a scam. Another thing that you might see is sometimes in their email, if you say you want to do a phone call with them, they'll be like, oh, I'm out of town, or I'm traveling internationally, or I'm hard of hearing, I'm deaf, and I can't answer the phone. They'll make some kind of excuse like that. The first time that I almost got scammed, I was following up, I thought it was real at the beginning because I had never gotten this email before. And I was following up and sending them I hadn't sent them a payable bill yet. That's kind of what saved me. But I saw, as time progressed, I kind of noticed it getting kind of more and more scammy, and especially when they started asking me to send money to somebody else. That's kind of where I was like, what's going on here? But at the beginning of the conversation, we were emailing back and forth, talking about the project, talking about the details. Do you want this plugin? Do you want WordPress? I thought it was legit. And I actually asked them to have a phone call, and this guy actually accepted the phone call. And it was a super bad connection. I could barely understand what he was saying. It definitely sounded like he was, in another country or somewhere else. I could barely understand what he was saying, or calling or rerouting the call through something else. So if they don't want to talk on the phone, that's another red flag. So that's pretty much how this scam works. It's pretty common. I get a couple of these a week, and if it's the first time, if you're a young web developer or just starting as a web designer or a graphic designer or any kind of videographer, any kind of online service, be careful with these kinds of emails. As a matter of fact, anybody who does business online can get an email like this. I have friends that are lawyers that get emails similar to this where they are pretending they need a case, and they do the same thing. Whenever a part of the email or part of the conversation you're having with that customer is they want you to send money to somebody else on their behalf, that's gonna be most likely a scam. Unless you know them personally, it's most likely a scam. And this scam actually comes from a scam that used to be done in person. What they would do is when people that are selling like furniture in a garage sale or furniture through Craigslist or something like that, people would tell them that they would buy their furniture, but that they were going to send them money, and then for them to use that money to pay the delivery company who was going to move the furniture for them. And then when they would send money to the delivery company, that person was in on it, or that delivery company didn't exist. They were just sending money to the real person, and then they would get scammed. Because once they contact the bank and undo the charge, there's nothing you can do. You've already sent the money. You can try calling your bank to undo what you've paid, but a lot of the times that's really difficult and a really big hassle, and it's really stressful once you've already sent them the money, because they can disappear with it and you have no way of tracing them except this one email that you got from them. So I hope this video helps you. I hope that you guys don't fall into these kinds of scams. Remember to like this video. It really helps the algorithm, and it helps this video get shown to more people. If you have had any kind of situation where you've almost been scammed, let me know in the comments, and let me know any other kind of videos you guys want to watch. So that's all for now. Have a great day. Bye-bye.